Hello and welcome back to HCS Weekly.
I felt like, yo, this is my life. I have to go pro in Halo.
In my head, thought that was more efficient, and I guess I was right.
He was like the god. We would have to 2v1 like just to beat this guy. Like
I don't know, man. I was trying to reach you. You're like, oh, let's see you guys later.
A lot of Halo in my life, man. It's been a fun journey.
I love it. Hello, welcome back to HCS Weekly, your weekly destination for all things HCS. I'm your host, ShyWay. We're back with, I believe, episode 52. I have not once, I think in the past like 51 episodes, have I mentioned what number episode we are on, which is crazy just to think that I've gone through 52. That's a whole year. That's a year worth of HCS Weekly. Thank you guys for being with me on this journey and just talking about Halo, getting excited about Halo, learning about new personalities. It's been awesome. And speaking about journey, we're going to jump back 5 years in the past. This is what we've been doing for the 5 weeks leading up to the 5-year anniversary of HCS. It's coming up November 5th. We got some big announcements apparently November 5th as well. Right now we're on year 2. Year 2 is 2016. I've got 2 great guests that I'll be bringing on the show to talk a little bit about year 2. But of course, before we get there, we've got the news, and we also have our Grassroots giveaway. Type ! Grassroots in the chat for your chance to enter for a BR skin and nameplate, and we give that away at the end of the show. So stick around to the end of the show. I'll announce who it is. This happens every single week. If you don't get it, you can tune in next week. Let's get right to the news with MattyRums from DukeCombo.com. Matty, what's up?
Hey, dude, what's going on?
Not much, man. I'm out of breath. I'm jumping around.
There's
we
a lot of
got
words.
a big interview every week. These are exciting. I don't have to find the guests. Muggsy's been helping me out, but then we've got all these wild topics and so much to talk about, and we have the news as well. And how have things been on that front, Matt?
Very slow.
Very slow.
Yeah, there's not.
It's
a
not
lot.
a hard job for you. You're not struggling.
There hasn't been much.
Well, give me the rundown, dude. What do we got?
As usual, there's the playlist update. It involved Infection Playlist and Social Slayer. They removed the Hive Mind map temporarily from H2A.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure what the second one means. It says added Standard Flood on Skyline and Daybreak in Halo 4. But
Standard Flood. Remember Halo 4 had this they had this.
I don't remember
really
anything about Halo 4.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I'm not thinking about Flood. I'm thinking about Infection in Halo 4. Remember what they did to Infection? You had like an actual infected Spartan. That was like one of the cool things about Halo 4. So maybe
they changed it.
I don't know if
So
they're
you're an actual-
referencing that in any way.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's what I thought when you said that to Skyline and Daybreak. But yeah, that's about the extent of it. Some minor tweaks as well. What's this?
Yeah, they just changed tweaks in the weightings of the game variants. So, I guess just balance.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah, that's it for the playlist update. Wasn't much.
I think a big thing that people have been paying attention to, of course, is just the flighting for Halo Reach. That's been the focus for 343 right now. People have been playing it. Everybody's been playing it. Thankfully, I managed to play it as well. It's been very fun. So I'm sure you guys have been watching, content on that. We also have topics outside of updates. This is, or it is an update, but it's not from 343. What's this?
Right. Neighbor decided that he's no longer going to be competing. He put out a tweet a few days ago. It says, I've decided to hang up the sticks and I won't be attending DreamHack Atlanta or future events. I was fortunate enough to team with some pretty awesome dudes this last year, and I appreciate y'all for giving me the opportunity. I have much love for the competitive Halo community and wish y'all the best. I
wonder if that's it. This is sad news. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen Neighbor kind of exit. He had to exit for 343 in the past.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe with Infinite he'll come back, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable. Like recently we heard about reciprocity splitting as a result. There's not as much competition right now. It's kind of an incubatory phase is what I'll call it, because I really hope that Halo pops off with Halo Infinite. That's what we're all hoping for. And I think if it's big enough, somebody like Neighbor could even come back. I mean, these guys, they'll be in their 30s, but they're going to want it, man. It's
what's wrong with being in their 30s?
Nothing. I mean, I'm going to be in my 30s soon. So we're all going down that direction, unfortunately. We also have some new announcements. What do we got here?
Yeah, NorCal Halo, which is Northern California Halo community. They announced San Francisco LAN. They're calling it the San Fran LAN.
Okay.
As of right now, it's a Halo CE 2v2 on original Xboxes, but they said if there's interest, they'll also do like a Halo 2 tournament, depending on the format. But they're gauging interest to see which game and format they're going to play. It's being held at the Emporium in San Francisco. It's a pretty cool looking like arcade bar.
Cool.
I was looking at some pictures of it, but it'll take place on Sunday, November 17th. It's $15 a person, and all the money goes towards the prize pool. And if you get there early, they're having, I guess they booked like an Airbnb where they're going to hold like what's it called? Like a boot camp, I guess.
Okay.
On November 15th and 16th. So if you're interested, you can find that information at on Twitter at NorCal Halo, NORCAL Halo.
Awesome. And of course, all those details will be on noobcombo.com as well, guys. So you can check that out through Matty's website. Shout outs to Halo 2, though. Halo 2 getting some love. It doesn't get any love anymore. It's like Halo CE's getting a couple tournaments, Halo 3, you know. Nobody really thinks about Halo 4 too much, but even Halo Reach now, and then Halo 2, man. Halo 2 was amazing. So we've got some upcoming tournaments as well. Let's talk about these ones.
Yeah, this Saturday in Rockford, Illinois at Open World Gaming, there's a $2,000 Halo 3 4v4. So if you're in that area, you should definitely check it out. $2,000, a nice prize pool. And then we also have the first qualifier for DreamHack Atlanta on Saturday.
Right.
And Sunday, the 13th, the Pro-Am Halo League is holding a Halo 5 4v4. And it's $400 to first place, winner take all.
Awesome.
And that'll be online.
Sweet. So $400, $2,000, still some good little events happening around that you guys can be a part of to continue competing in Halo. And then the next big event would be DreamHack Atlanta, what we're going to be talking about soon. And the qualifiers will start this weekend. So still some stuff to get excited about and to talk about in Halo, but pretty light on the news today. Not too much work for you, Matty, but always enjoy.
Next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Always enjoy chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for joining me once again.
Anytime, man.
No problem. See you around. There's the transition, sitting here waiting for it. Thank you, John. And of course, we have our interview today. We're going back to year 2 of HCS. I'm excited to reminisce with these boys here. We got Cratos and we got Onset. Welcome to the show.
What up? How we doing? Good evening.
Oh, good, man. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I was wondering, this is kind of an unexpected interview duo. You know what I mean? Like Muggsy was saying, we're trying to find people to bring on the show, and he's reaching out to Snakebite and Lethal, and I'm like, dude, it's going to be hard to get a hold of them. And then he says, we got Onset and Cratos. And I'm like, sure, great. I've just never seen them in the same place at the same time. Do you guys know each other really well at all?
Not really well. I wouldn't say we know each other really well, but we dress the same. So I think like at least
Great
we've made
shirts.
that kind of thing going on. You know, the
Got
hats,
the email.
great shirt. Exactly. The dress code.
You ended up having the same the arms crossed pose in the announcement photo too. That just kind of conveniently worked out.
Classic.
Yeah, but I wanted to get like a quick update on what you guys have been up to. I know Onset, of course, you're doing a lot of casting. You did some Apex recently, which was pretty sick. Tell me about that. Like, how you been recently?
Busy. Yeah, I've had a little bit of time off the last couple of weeks. It's been nice to kind of recharge the batteries. But yeah, I've been doing Apex, obviously FIFA. Did the Ignite show, the Halo one at Twickenham, the European event. That was super fun as always. Been busy, really, really busy, and hopefully continue to be busy.
It's the right kind of busy, yeah. So you're doing what you love. So hopefully we get more Halo events so we can see you show up at those as well. Cratos, I haven't seen you in competitive Halo in a long time. Of course, you made some big waves while you were there, but you're still gaming. I saw you were playing Call of Duty recently. Is that kind of what you've been focused on? You waiting for Halo to make a comeback?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Infinite, and I knew I thought I would have 2 years before the next Halo, but I guess it was 3. So I was just trying to make my transition. It's kind of hard, you know. You have to make a lot of friends in Call of Duty to get into the right group of people.
Yeah. So you've just been grinding that. Is that kind of a goal for you for now, is to try to compete in COD, and then when Infinite rolls around, I guess you might make the switch?
Yeah, just depending how it's going in Call of Duty. I mean, it's not going that great, honestly. Like, it's not going that great. So just waiting on Halo, but I still got 1 more year to, try it out.
Man, honestly, it's you and the rest of the Halo guys, right? Because it's like you want to compete in other games. That's fun. Like, competition is something you love, but Halo is where you came from, right? Halo is home.
It's fun. I mean, it's so much more fun too.
Yeah. Like it's the same kind of withdrawal everybody's experiencing. Like Spartan, I saw on Twitter saying the same type of thing. He doesn't get the same thrills off other games. He'll try to jump into Rainbow Six or Gears of War, and you don't get that feedback. And then he plays Halo Reach. He's been pretty excited about that. But nice to, hopefully these Halo guys can come back to Halo and can really get excited about that again, right?
I'm sure we will. This next game is going to be so good. I can just tell.
Yeah. So to kick things off here, I always like to cherry pick a couple of your guys' tweets and talk about these a little bit. Cratos, I know you haven't been in Halo for a while, but your pinned tweet on your page is from 2017, and this is when you're part of a scene. And let's take a look at that real quick. I like this tweet. Now, you were a little polarizing in Halo. I know you were. Of course, some people loved you. Others, maybe not. But this is a really real tweet here, man. What does this mean to you when you say, when I put down the controller, I'm just a human with feelings and thoughts?
Well, I feel like everyone looks at me like bad, and like I get it. I get why.
Yeah.
But you guys also have you guys don't get it from my point of view. Like from my point of view, I'm not friends with any really close friends with any of these guys either. And any time I do get to see them or hang out with them, I'm going to war with them. It's not like we're hanging out eating lunch. Like I'm playing for my life against these guys.
Right.
So, but just because I'm super hyper competitive doesn't mean, when I'm not gaming, I'm not just like a normal guy. Like I'm not just a nice guy, because I feel like I'm a really nice guy, but when it's time to go to war, like I'm going to war.
Yeah. You know what? I think a good thing to juxtapose it, if you watch your YouTube videos, I find that you're pretty nice. You seem like an easygoing dude on YouTube. And then when it comes to Twitter, when it comes to competition, you turn into Kratos. You're different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It's your mindset towards winning. You can't accept anything else. You're very serious about that.
Yeah, for a lot of people, we're just competing, or a lot of people were, being competitive. But for me, it's like, for me to get into that mindset to have to grind 12 hours a day, to not have a social life, like I have to think in my mind, like I'm going to war with these guys. I don't like you. I don't want to like you. I don't want to know you. I'm coming here to beat you. And some people just take that wrong. Yeah. And sometimes I'll say things that don't sound good, but if you were my friend, you would find it funny if you were my friend, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I said you're crap at the game, and you don't know me, you'll take that bad. But if you're my best friend and I'm like, dude, you suck, you'd be like, shut up, you suck too. You know what I'm saying? It's different.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's all it depends on your viewpoint, I guess, and where you're coming from. And I won't dig too deep. I'll kind of leave it there. But I do respect that in the end of the day, it's all about the win. It's about the W, and that's what's most important to you. And that is understandable that it comes from there. Onset. I managed to find a cool Halo tweet from you. This one takes us back. Speaking of reminiscing about Halo, let's take a look at Onset's tweet here. There we go. Bunked off college to play this on an in-store machine at the local game store on release day. 12 years on. It's still being enjoyed by so many people as one of the bedstones. Bedstones. I've never heard that word before. Of console FPS history. What a game, man! Tell me about this. Is this was Halo 3 the Halo for you?
First I got really nervous when you said you were digging through my Twitter, because there's probably a few things in there. Secondly, I'm pretty sure I meant Cornerstone, and I made up Bedstone, so thank you for that.
Okay.
And thirdly, actually talking about the tweet, Halo 3 was the first game that I could play online, because I lived in a really, really rural area. We had terrible internet when I was growing up, and I actually played Halo CE, Halo 2. I used to go to my friend's house, the same friend that, don't tell my teachers, bunked off college with, to go and play Halo 3 on the install machine. We played Halo. I used to go to his house and play Halo 1, Halo 2. We used to absolutely love it. It was our lives. And then Halo 3, I used to have a really, really, really crappy laptop that I would bridge our Wi-Fi from downstairs to upstairs. And we were on 1 point something meg, internet. It was dreadful. And play on bottom yellow bar and love life. I didn't care. I didn't know any different. And I remember going to my first ever Halo 3 LAN. There was a local Halo 3 LAN, and I was like, this game is different. I was like, I can kill people. What is happening? And then I learned about host. Now, what people don't understand is that if you've got someone on host who's from the UK and you're playing on a terrible internet connection, I became unkillable. So I was playing with a lot of good players and things like that, and that was a lot of fun. But that's such a throwback to think about going into that, into that game store and playing on the machine. Yeah. It was awesome. That game, it changed my life.
That game was a revolution for the whole industry too. It was just unbelievable. And nice to see that you had that experience. Kratos, where were you on launch day Halo 3? What were you up to?
I remember I was in class. I remember my teacher took the day off. I had a guy teacher, and he took the day off to play Halo, and I was like, What is Halo? Like, what is
That guy's-
Halo?
that guy's
What is
got it
Halo?
sorted.
You
Yeah,
didn't
I
know
was just
Halo had
like-
Halo 3? You didn't play the other two?
Well, I knew of Halo 2, but I didn't even think of, when they said that he was ditching, like he got a substitute for like the Halo 3 launch. I was like, what? Or like, what are these guys doing? Because I was
Name
like,
him.
Wow.
I was kind of into video
That's
games at the
awesome.
time, but I just didn't have an Xbox or anything, so I didn't really,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know it was that deep. I guess I didn't play till a couple years later, and then I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Right, you kind of slipped in at the end of Halo 3. So you must have very quickly transitioned from playing to competing then. Like once you got on it, you're like, I'm going to be a competitor. It's done, right? Is that?
Well, I before I even had an Xbox, I told my dad I'm going to be a pro Halo player, and that's
Damn.
why I got an Xbox. Yeah,
Wow.
it took me like what? It took me a year to become a pro from Halo 3. So my first Reach event was when I went pro. So it took me 1 year from having an Xbox to doing it.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. That's kind of like I'm assuming that's how you would take on a lot of challenges. Because for me, it's like it takes me years to kind of get there. I'm enjoying the game. I'm playing casual social matchmaking, and then at some point you're like, okay, I want this to be a thing. You know what I mean? I guess you decide what you want and you go for it quickly.
Yeah, I always, my friends always joke with me about that. Whenever I talk about something, I'm like, well, I can do that. Like I can 100% do that.
Yeah.
But then
I'm
there's
exactly
things like
the same as that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
then there's things like where like Halo, it's like I fell in love with it right away, so I was perfectly fine putting in all that time and
Right.
watching all that VOD from past years, learning about all these players. Like I was okay with it, so that's why I did it pretty fast, I think.
Yeah, it was almost easy back then to put in that time because everybody was playing it too. It was crazy. So let's keep on reminiscing. We're going to talk about year 2 of HCS. This is 2016. We're going to jump back in time. 2016. I was not here. I was watching. I got to watch it on Twitch. I was a fan at the time, but you guys were really making some waves in your careers at the time. We kicked off the year with X Games. So X Games was a very unique event for Halo. This sent you guys to Aspen, Colorado. You're in the cold here. People are snowboarding. They're playing winter sports, and you guys are in your toques playing some Halo. We got a highlight video in the background here. Cratos, kick it off. Tell me about this experience here. What was this event like for you? Do you remember any stories? You had Naded, you had L-Town, you had Suspector with you. How did that all happen?
So we got super lucky that we got to go to X Games. Well, first of all, insane that they're holding a Halo tournament at X Games, right? But they also did like the top 6 teams from North America qualify, and it was after the first 2 online tournaments. And in the first one, we played EG really early and got top 16. So we were really far from that. And then we ended up winning the next one, which put us in the X Games. Like we didn't know we were going to get put in there, but it was just like such great timing. Like we won it, and then we were in because of that win.
So you were like just formed, and then you managed to win these qualifiers. Is that kind of what happened? Like, how did you guys all meet each other, come together?
I was on a team with Boo Boo, Commonly, and Nemesis, and it was Naded, L-Town, Suspector, and I think Stellar. And I promised before Halo 5 came out, I promised Aiden that we were gonna have the season we were supposed to have the year before, that we got really unlucky with. And I promised them, I'm like, we're going to team, we're going to do this. But then we ended up not teaming. And then when they asked me to team, I'm like I promised him that I would team with him. Like, even though my team was super good at the time, I was like, I promised this guy, so we got to do it. So we ended up teaming, and we're actually really good. Online, we were really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were already under the Allegiance banner at the time too? Like when you joined it, they were already Team Allegiance. You were just joining up with that?
I think, I believe so. Yeah. They already had that sponsor or that org.
In the meantime, Onset, I don't think you were there, right? What were you up to at the time? I remember you said a tweet saying that 2016 was a huge year for you in your career with HCS. When did that all kick off?
So yeah, for X Games, I was watching at home. I was losing sleep. I was up till whatever time it was in the morning. Like all Europeans kind of had to learn to do to watch competitive Halo and video games in general back in the day. But so back in the day, it's 3 years ago. But yeah, I was watching it. I remember watching it because obviously we had a couple of European representatives over there.
Right.
And we were super excited to see what Epsilon could do, because it was like, this roster's like, we think they're really good. And you're always wanting, obviously, the homegrown boys to do well. And I think they beat Renegades in the first series that they played. And we were like, what is happening here? Like, wait, these guys could actually do some damage. Like, I remember Jimbo going off in the series. And that was when kind of Jimbo made his name. He kind of announced himself as a really, really talented player. And obviously the Bucks and Snipe Drone had done some work alongside him. But after that, it kind of fell off and the dream kind of died. But, you know, European Halo, that's what happens. We give ourselves a little bit of hope and then it gets extinguished. But
you made some strides, but you still,
of course. It was one of those things where it was like, okay, maybe we've got a team that can really compete. Because on Halo 3, we had Power that kind of worked their way through. But we got to Halo 5 and it felt like we had a couple of teams that maybe could do some damage. But it was a crazy event to watch, like Cratos was saying, because of the fact that it was at X Games. And I feel like everyone was just like, wow, like even watching it, we're like, wow, these guys are playing at X Games. Like this is huge, not only for the players, but for the esport, for everyone involved, for everyone watching. It's such a huge, opportunity to put the game in the shop window that it did. And I think there was so much hype coming off the end of X Games. And I mean, I'm sure you'll want to talk about the results itself in a little bit, but what a way to showcase competitive Halo and Halo 5 at that point than the tournament that they did have. It was insane.
Yeah, incredible. There were so many good games kind of leading up to it too. Of course, we had the CLG EG rivalry that was kind of going on, but underneath all that, ALG was doing some amazing stuff too. Kratos, you and your team, you managed to secure a medal. It was bronze medal, but how did you feel about the experience here? Like, what did you think about your performance? Did you kind of expect to do as well as you did? Of course, you wanted to win coming in. Tell me a bit about this. I know EG was a tough one, but Renegades, you kind of bowled over them, which I felt like they were a bit of a nemesis for you guys over the period that you played.
Yeah, so going into that tournament, it was one of those things in life where while it was happening, I was just trying to soak it all in because that's unbelievable to me. Someone I grew up playing Tony Hawk on the N64, and like now I'm at X Games playing a video game that I love. Like that's crazy to me, And right before that tournament happened, there was like a crazy roster period. There was the lethal and them all switched.
Yep.
And all the teams switched up other than our team. And our team, EG nated a team actually before they axed commonly a team.
Oh wow.
And we were coming off of two first places and 2 second places on the online 2Ks. And then they axed nated, so we were like,
you're gonna lose nated.
Yeah, we're gonna lose nated. Like we don't have like big names to where we can like pick up someone, at least me personally, like I don't know anyone. So if we need one a couple weeks before a tournament, like who am I gonna even ask? I don't know anyone to ask. Mm-hmm. But since we stuck together, nated ended up saying no. I didn't think there was a chance we were gonna lose that tournament. Seriously, like I didn't think there was even a possibility we would lose the X Games. At least I thought that was in the bag, like for us. Yeah. And going to that tournament, I don't know. I don't want to complain that much, but whoever structured that tournament did a really bad job. It was, I don't know about any other sport ever that I've ever seen ever in my life. First place plays fourth place. Second place plays third place.
Okay.
We were first place and we played third place for in the semifinal.
Interesting.
So it was like, what? Like, why do we have to play EG? Why doesn't EG have to play CLG to make it into the final? We had to play one of those teams. Like, I don't know. It was kind of dumb. But we played Renegades. We played them in the bracket play as well. We beat them pretty easily in the bracket play. When we played them for the medal match, it was the same thing. It was pretty early into Halo 5, and we were pretty. We knew we were better than them at the time. Definitely, we beat them in every online 2K, and then earlier in the tournament it was pretty easy. So we knew we were going to win the bronze once we lost to EG.
Yeah. Must have been a bit of an unfortunate. I don't know too much about the organization kind of structure stuff that you brought up. Of course, the EG series did seem to be a tough one for you. Then Renegades, of course, like you said, you guys got a great start to the season with 2016, and that brought you into Worlds really well as well. But Renegades in Worlds was a different Renegades, though that series was very entertaining to look at, and that's what we're going to probably jump over to next, right? Because you had X Games kicks it off. You guys get a bronze medal. I was looking through your Twitter, by the way, Cratos. I went all the way back in Twitter. I don't have the video, but you gave your bronze medal to a friend in like an Apple store, and he stood up on a table and he's like, "I have an X Games medal." I wish I could have showed that.
That was my coach Showtime.
Oh, is that what?
That was so funny.
Yeah. So you had your fun with the medal, you know.
Oh yeah,
Even if it
dude,
was,
I take that out to the bars sometimes, man. I have a fun time. I have a like, everyone
respect
else
that.
like has it like hung up. Like I have fun with my medal. I don't know.
Is that kind of the icebreaker with the ladies? It's like on the chest, you know, they see it. Oh, damn, X Games bronze medal.
Like I'll literally go up to the bar and I'll be like, yeah, anything with Red Bull in it, I get for free. So just let me know what you want. You know, I'll start spitting game. I'll just walk away.
Wow, let's get it. That's funny. Okay, so let's keep going then. We got Worlds that comes up next, and the good thing about Worlds is Onset, you're in this one. This is a big casting moment for you as well. The series that we're going to highlight is going to be the Renegade versus ALG series. We're going to take specific moments from the series, play them with audio. We can listen to them, kind of talk about how you felt, because this series was incredible. One of the best series, I think, in Halo 5 in the history of Halo 5, because it had this crazy reverse sweep comeback. But let's play some stuff up in the background here to kick it off. Onset, it starts with you and Bravo on the desk. How many times have you been here on the desk like this? Was this a really big experience for you as a caster? Tell me a bit about this.
So pre this event, obviously I'd done some small events in Europe. I think it was actually 2 events, and then I did the Halo World Championship qualifiers for Europe, and that was before I worked for Gfinity. That was at the Gfinity Arena, and then I think a week before Worlds, I got asked to do Worlds. It was literally out of nowhere. So this moment was insane. I was on the B stream a lot of the time, and something funny to actually notice here is I was thrown onto the A stream for this series out of nowhere. I had no rehearsal. I didn't know where the hard cam was to even look. So if you look here, I never look at the camera because I don't know where it is. It was like so far away in the background. Like you can probably, I don't know if you would have remember, Carlos, but it was like behind all of the crowd and everything. It was like miles away. But this series was still to this day one of my favorite ever series of any game, just because of not just the fact that it was Worlds and there was a little bit of a rivalry between the 2 teams. It was the nature of the comeback, because you guys got absolutely spanked in game number 1 and pretty much game number 2 as well.
And
you were 1 flag cap away from losing the series. You were 2-0 down on Collie flag. And somehow, you know, when you talk about momentum in a series, you talk about those moments. And I think it was Nate had made a crazy play to get a flag return. I remember that. And then I think you got a double kill on your own base, and then you just started getting loud. And from that moment, when you won that game, you just felt something was going to happen. You just knew it. You could just feel it in the air. And then it was it's just unreal. I watched it back today, and it was like, wow, this was a crazy moment.
Yeah, John, real quick, let's fast forward if you can to the first game and the second game. I know I didn't put timestamps for those, but if we can just show a little bit of gameplay, because you're absolutely right. Stronghold's Empire is a bit of a stomp. It's 100-0.
100-0. It's a donut.
Stronghold's Empire is a scary game type, though, because it is so snowbally, right? You see a lot of 100-0s on this map. Kratos, tell me a bit about that first game, Empire Strongholds. There you are. You can tell me about this experience.
So right before this series, they announced who's playing who, you know, and they announced CLG-EG.
Oh, it's a randomized bracket, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So when they announced, we're all the pros were in the back waiting, we're just waiting for the announcement, you know, and they say CLG versus EG, and I stood up in front of everyone. I turned around to my team and I was like, "We're gonna win this tournament. This is our tournament. We're going to win this tournament." And then we go into this series and get 100-0'd by Ninja right away.
Is it because it's Ninja? Is it hurt that it's Ninja? Is that?
I just know. You'll see in the highlights probably in a little bit after we start making a comeback. I just know how they are when they're beating me, and I just knew they had the biggest smile on their faces, and it was pissing me off. Just to know that they were just so happy over there. 100-0, 50-30. I knew they were just so happy.
100-0 as well. Ninja
was in. He was in
and
all
they're
the
shooting their
stars.
bodies. They're shooting their
John,
bodies.
try to fast forward it if you can, man. See if you can show the Empire game in the background. That would be beautiful. If you can get there. But yeah, sorry. Continue, Kratos. My bad.
Yes, they were shooting our bodies, getting loud. I don't know. I could just tell they were just having so much fun, and it was just bothering me that they were just having that much fun at my expense on the biggest stage of all time, you know.
Was it? Yeah. Was this the biggest stage you've ever been on? Was there a massive audience in front of you? What's that like for you?
Yeah, I mean that probably was at the time the biggest crowd I've played in front of, but mainly just because it's Worlds. $2.5 million.
I didn't even address that. Now that I think about that, I was supposed to lead in by saying, dude, this is Worlds 2016 $2.5 million tournament, unprecedented in console esports. Like, we have never seen a prize pool. I don't even think even close to that, which is crazy. Like that alone must have been kind of scary and exciting. Like, what are you thinking there? Like $2.5 million.
So like the main thing was, so the winner of our series, Renegades versus us, the loser walks away, the team walks away with $75,000. The winner walks away with at least $250,000. So that series is a huge series. Like, I remember talking to my parents before I left to California. They were like, make sure you do not mess up and not at least get top 4. Like, get top 4 or win the tournament, but do not get top 8. Like, you cannot get top 8. You need to get top 4 at least, because the number difference is huge. So we knew going into that series, like, we need to win this. Yeah. We have to. Otherwise, our whole year there was no point for us to get third, first, second. Like, all those things didn't matter if we got top 8 at Worlds.
The split was crazy. It was like 1,500,000, and then I think it was 75,000.
No, 250.
Or was it 250? 250, and then 75.
Yeah.
And then you're out for the running. You get like way less. You get like a tiny fraction. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and John got back to me here. Sorry, guys. He says, only the timestamps. No, I can't. Raw file gone. I don't know what that means, but apparently we don't have the first 2 games immediately accessible. What we do have is Game 3 Coliseum. This is where things kind of shake up. So, I guess
that's kind of like kind of good for you, isn't it? Those 2 first games just aren't available.
Yeah, we don't need to see them.
They were bad. Like, I mean, they were bad. There's nothing to watch. Like, they were just destroying us, talking crap, kicking our bodies. Like, they were just doing whatever they wanted to us the first 2 maps.
And then Coliseum, you're losing as well. You're down 2 flags, right? You get a sneaky one in the background. Onset and Bravo didn't see it. They didn't. I don't think the observer saw it. It came back in the background. And then you make this great play, and then it's all team speak for the rest of the event there. So let's play this moment in audio to the end of the Coliseum game. Hopefully we can get all that. John, let's play it up.
Using the thrust, and here we go, just like that. Allegiance has tied it up 2-2. They answered back 2 flags, I believe, within about a minute and a half, if that. So incredible runs from Allegiance. We're all tied up here. Just under 4 minutes left, and they answered back so fast. Makes you question Renegade's dominance here.
Yeah, definitely. It shows that Allegiance have basically woken up in this series. 2 back-to-back flags. Next flag wins, as we say. So Cratos is going to be moving over. The Rockets have popped, so he's going to be trying to do some work and help get control of those power weapons, but he's aware of a player trying to sneak into his base, and that is Victory X once again on the flank, challenges Cratos. Great help from shots from Cratos to take him down, and now another player on his radar. That's going to be Spartan. He's challenged by Spartan, and Spartan does take him down, but great damage dealt from Cratos there as we hop over to Spartan himself, who's actually also died, and Stella has the rocket launcher.
Here we go. Yeah, now on board with Nated. Let's get into an Allegiance listen in here in these last 3 minutes of the match. They just brought everything back. We'll see if they can get this 3rd and potentially finals cap.
He's absolutely there.
Watch our window. Watch our window, guys.
I'm flanking.
Watch out, Carlos.
Watching you, dude.
I can run this window. I hear you.
No window. Stay alive, Steph.
I'm gonna throw it.
They can't go BR. They can't go BR.
I'm here. Kill me. Two down.
Slay. We're 3 dead.
And Rock is at basement. They're gonna run that. Watch him running it.
Arcade. Stay alive here. Everyone stay alive. Play games, buckets.
Shut up with buckets. He's our basement probably.
That's behind them. Sniping. RBR. Stay alive.
I'll see her from base.
Arcade wall, ninja.
I hear you. Two snipes down, guys. Watch our cave. Arcade one shot. One shot. Their window. Watch out their window.
Rockets are up.
The enemy flag has been
Watch the rocket street. That's it. Now Rockets up.
He's back.
He's there. That's me. You gotta watch his snipe now. Yeah, watch your flank. Watch out. You get spawned in my ninja. I killed one. I killed rocket guy.
Push bar.
Rockets. Sniping your cat.
What shot base?
Red's on their elbow.
Shot grass maybe?
I hear you. I'm trying to go.
Top cat, one shot, guys.
I have Red's alone on elbow. Red's alone on elbow.
The window shot.
I have rockets. I got one. Up here sniping. I hear you. I got him.
Diners, watch the
Go
Diners.
back!
Small rock side, small rock side.
Let's go Diners.
Rockets, one shot! Rockets, one shot! Root down!
I got a double.
Nice, I'm from base.
Shoot that,
On
shoot
the
that.
back,
I'm
on the
going
top.
free. I'm going free. You guys get the touch.
Hey, you gotta get touch, you gotta get touch!
Another one. Wait, another one. Mike.
Double read, double read.
Get on the read. I want it, Sal.
Got it!
Nice shot.
And that's it. Victory for Allegiance. What a comeback win. You heard it through that last listening. They brought it back together. They regained their composure. 3-2 is the final score. Using the thrust, and here we go. Just like that, Allegiance has...
Okay. All right. So, guys, incredible. Such an incredible series of plays. We're going to play it back up. I want to play it in the background. We could talk about it again. But Cratos, man, the adrenaline from that experience, that final flag that you dropped in, and then you just pop off and start screaming, like, man, tell me about this. Does this start the momentum? Do you know from here you can take this?
Yeah, so before this map started, I was trying to get my team pumped up, but we're kind of defeated at this point, you know?
Right. And you down 2 flags.
And then they capped within like 30 seconds of the game starting, and they capped again. So we're like, you know, again, like seriously, like we're gonna do this again. Then they go up 2-0. And then we just started playing desperate, but it started working. Like we started hitting their elbow nonstop, and it started working. And we capped 2 flags in a minute. We kept like one pretty sneaky one with like only like 1 person dead or something, and then I threw out a flag. They killed me, but 2 of them went to recover it, and when they went to recover it, L-Town ran another one, and when I spawned, that flag was like in front of me, and I had like a free double kill right in front of me. 2-2, I was like, all right, like this is us, like we got this now, like we can do this. Then it was still more like, even though we like in the listening, you can hear that we were pretty hype after that, but things still weren't going like smooth for us, like whatsoever. Like it was still they would get a kill, we would get a kill, they would get a kill, we would get a kill. Like it was still like neck and neck. Yeah. And then I would just remember like they were not stopping us at their elbow. Like Naded, if you just keep watching this, he's here the entire time. Like he just keeps doing it, and it was just a matter of time till they mess up. And we get like 2 kills or something, and then you hear all of us start like getting really, really loud, and that's when we all knew we kind of won. Because they were starting to die. They were gonna have to start desperating. We had rockets. There was no chance. We already knew we were gonna win. And then when we won, I was like, okay, we know like Naded and me are really momentum based. So us winning is really like us taking a map is really, really important for our team. Right. Because before that, it's like I don't like barely. Not some people weren't even calling out. You know, not gonna even say names.
It's belief, isn't it?
Yeah,
you need that belief.
Yeah. But like once we started winning, you know, like after you see me jumping up, Naded's laughing and smiling, which is a great sign. Like you want to see Naded happy, like happy.
Yes.
When he's happy, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
Suspector had a crazy performance that game, so I'm like, okay, you just need to keep doing that every game. I don't know, like I just felt like, okay, like we can do this. We were backs against our wall. Like it wasn't like we just won, 3-2 with like one cap. It was like we're about to lose, and then we came back. So it's like that's such momentum.
Even time is a factor here as well. We got the final minute of the game too.
I didn't even notice.
Of course, overtime is a possibility as well, though. But yeah, like you wouldn't even notice it just because of all the craziness that's going on. Onset, of course, you're casting it. Did you expect this comeback to happen?
Yeah. Absolutely not. Like, why would you? Let's be fair.
Right.
Like, as I say, the first 2 games weren't close. They were 2-0 down, first capping within a minute. Like, you don't see a team being able to find that steel and that resolve to bounce back in that kind of way. And I think, if that game goes on another 30 seconds and you don't get a cap, then you're looking at the clock and you're going, we can't win this. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that starts to come in. Like, we don't have enough time to cap these flags. But the fact that not only you got 1, you got the 2 in a minute, all of a sudden you realize that you can beat these guys. That sort of thing is like, we've not just managed to do the thing we've been trying to do, which is cap that flag. We've done it twice easily, consecutively. And from there, if you can keep that momentum flowing, especially as well, we always look at it from one side. If you look at it from the other side of what Renegades are thinking, they're 1 cap away from winning the series, moving on, $250,000 in their pocket. Fantastic stuff. The doubt is the thing that cripples you. As soon as you lose a game like that, you immediately you think you're going to you're thinking of losing the series. You're not thinking of winning the series. You're thinking don't choke. And it's such a huge thing, like mentally, for a team to have to sit there and go, right, now we have to, reset, start again. But you lose 1 more, and then, I mean, we all know what happens.
Yeah.
But it's it's such a crazy thing when you're in those pressurized situations like the World Championships, $2.5 million. Every single thing like that, every single emotion changes the game. And like those two back-to-back caps are probably the most important back-to-back caps of your career, I'd imagine.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's not just what it does to fuel your team; it's what it does to the opposition as well.
Especially as well, like we always talk about how you have these emotional players, the ones who get loud, who want.
It's Cratos and Nated right there too. Like these are the two.
Yeah, but I always feel on the opposite side of that. Like we see, Spartan Ninja on that team. Victory and Stella, very quiet guys, very level-headed guys. But those kind of players, when things start not going their way. It has the complete opposite effect, and I'm sure you've had it as well. Like when things start going your way, you get quiet. Like it's just a natural thing that happens, and you have to kind of speak to yourself, and your teammates need to get you going again. And it's like you don't have time in a best-of-5 series to do that. Like if it's a best-of-7, you got kind of maybe a little chance to have a little think and a reset. But in a best-of-5, you've got to be on it straight away. And if that doubt starts to come in, it's crippling.
Yeah. So that all culminates into this intense Plaza match to finish the series. We've got another timestamp. It's more of your in-team audio so people can see what it's like. You guys are communicating with each other. Let's play that up with audio. We'll come back. We'll talk about it in a bit.
Garlic.
Shiny spawn, one shot.
20 seconds, OS. Top yard, one shot. OS in 18. We're getting this. Two dead.
I'm saying like time minutes.
At 10, move on him. 750 OS. 750 OS.
Two back, go to me.
10 seconds till OS.
What time? 50?
750, exact.
Go home. What's good?
5 seconds till OS. No one's going for it.
Aiden, go.
50, exact. Help Aiden. Sniper down by his head. I'm marking weak. Marking what's up. Combo weak.
Dip weak.
Watch out, U-turn. Watch the one.
Another truck. I know
we're up by 7.
Yeah, play gaze.
Go.
I'm 3P.
It's your right, Brett, behind you. Watch on Brett. Weak one, sir. I need Brett. Both sides. Weak one.
Yeah, watch my flowers.
U-turn.
He's top side weak, Carlos. Watch out, top side, come on.
Nice.
Watch out.
I spawn behind him. Brett pushing. Just stay alive here. Brett pushing behind him.
Pushing weak.
Watch out. Behind you, Carlos.
Bomb driveway. Watch out, bomb driveway, Carlos. Mark it, guys.
Help Brett.
Dude, mark it in cinema stairs. Cinema stairs.
That's for one.
Watch out, bottom van. Take it. Go to ledge. I can run.
Flowers, gonna meet them. Flowers, gonna be flowers. Top side, guys.
Flowers, I need flowers. Carlos, put
waste it, Brett. Bottom truck died. Dump truck, Sammy. Bottom truck, we come bottom out. What's on him, Carlos? Snipes down, dump truck.
Weak dip, I shot him twice.
Garden ledge.
Carlos, garden ledge. He's chasing you.
One.
I got him.
Nice.
Aiden, I'm going bottom.
Get this.
So more hype, more intensity. Of course, you guys are going off on the comms there. Everything's getting tense down to the wire. I know we were laughing about that play with L-Town and the SMGs kind of aiming it all over the place. Let's play a little bit of it in the background. Once again, we could talk about it. Cratos, get your perspective. You're down to the final game in the series. Everything's on the line. I'm sure some of you guys are a little nervous. How you feeling?
So we had a pretty comfortable lead. Like, yeah, look, we have like a 10-kill lead. It was pretty comfortable. I think we're getting hype, we're getting loud, like we're in full control. And then they start coming back. Like, I don't know, they were coming back like really weirdly though. Like I don't know like how they were doing it. It doesn't even make sense to me, like how they brought it back so quickly. But they started bringing it back, and we started doing some dumb deaths. Like that was a bad death. This is an awful death. We have another one. Nated goes bottom mid with the sniper. That's another one. Sal and me died dumb right there. Like we're all just doing dumb things, and now like look, the game's getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
Crazy thing about this map as well is like it was so unforgiving at this stage in Halo 5 as well. Like if you got a 10-kill lead on this, it was very rare you'd see a team turn it around, because like you could hold with storm rifles with that sniper with like
it's radar,
crazy like auto aim on it as well. Like it felt like it was so difficult to come back in these games.
I told myself before this map started that I'm going to win this game or I'm going to lose this game, but I'm not going to play scared. Like if I'm in a challenge battles, I'm going to do pushes that I would normally do. I'm not going to play scared. Like I'm going to try to win. If I'm going to win, then good. And if I'm going to lose, we're going to lose because of me. Like I'm okay with that. And I was playing really aggressive this game. I was challenging everything.
Like you have no pressure on you whatsoever, basically.
Yeah, because I know how they're thinking. I know what they're thinking. Like, I know, like Ninja, like if you compare the two teams, you would say Ninja and Spartan are like their two momentum players, and then like me and Nated are two momentum players, and momentum's on our side. And then like I was winning battles that whole map, so I just kept on getting into them as much as I could, and I was getting hype. I got Ninja one time so bad. At the beginning of that, I got
wish I found
so
that
bad.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't on screen that map at all.
Oh, okay.
But I was one shot looking this way. He was garden ledge. He gets me one shot. I turn, and for some reason, I like instead of backing down, I challenge him, kill him.
Of course, you guys pop off so hard at the end. The last thing I wanted to grab was just a quick clip here of you guys celebrating. It was a really big celebration. I'm sure that brings you, over into the grand finals pretty smoothly because you had a great series following that. But let's check out this little moment here.
And 2 kills left for Allegiance, and he finds spot bombing. 49 kills to Allegiance, and CJ Nated is the man right now. What a comeback from Allegiance!
And look at Allegiance. Nated is fired up, coming back from a 2-0 deficit there. That's the most explosive we've seen a team all weekend. This room is the loudest it's been all weekend. Allegiance has fought back and rallied back. Renegades is going home.
To us super like really quickly. That kind of upset me. Not like looking back at it,
it came over too quick.
Yeah, that bothers me a lot. Like let us have our time, because they were like we were like yeah, and they were like hugging us already. Like dude, like give let us celebrate. But
I probably wanted to get off stage as quick as possible.
Just let us have our moment, all right?
We're out.
Yeah. I remember when we won that. I was so happy because in my mind, no disrespect to the teams we could have played afterwards, which would have been Elevate or Epsilon, I think. I think those two. Yeah.
Elevate after.
We knew we were going to beat those two teams no matter what. So to me, in my mind, I just popped off in a game 5 to get my team into the finals. Like that, even though it was just to get into the semifinals, like in my mind, before I went into that match, I already knew like this is the series we want to win, and then we're gonna play CLG in the finals. Yeah. So when we won that, as you saw, I lost my mind. I don't even know what I blacked out right there. I tackled Brett. It wasn't even a hug.
You were
yeah. And then for some reason I ran to my left, even though my teammates were all to my right. I ran to my left to. I don't even know what was over there. I just ran over there for some reason, and then I turned back around. And then I was like, I don't know. I was just so happy, and then when I was walking back, I go to the crowd. I was like, what? Because I remember I saw people leaving after game 2. I remember seeing that and it bothered me. I hate when people do that during series or at concerts or something, before the last guy's done and people are leaving. That bothers me. And I remember people leaving after I just got 100-0'd and staked. I remember people getting up and leaving. I was like, dude, really? Like y'all are going to leave during my match like that? And I remember I was just like, let's go. Like, what?
That kind of stuff fuels you, I'm sure. So what I did try to do is I went back in time to 2016 to try to grab some of the tweets in response to that moment. And apparently this moment brought some tears to your eyes. Let's play that tweet that you made. Here it is. I literally cried after that series. This is my life. Man, tell me about this. What was Halo to you at the time? I guess the short answer is it was your life. Tell me about that.
I'm like getting teary-eyed even thinking about that, bro. So like after that series, I grabbed my bag and like all my team were like together and we were like going to, because we had like a pretty big like our girlfriends and our friends all came out. So they all went to them, but like I was like so emotional. I was like, I'll be right back. So I went to the back. There was like there was like a water fountain and like a bathroom in like the back area kind of like, but no one was there. There was just 2 security guards. And I had nowhere else to go, so I was like, okay, this is like it. I got underneath the water fountain, and I just started crying. And then Garrett Lifestyle called me, and he's like, dude, I'm so proud of you. I felt like I was with you. And then he said those words, and then I just started crying like crazy. I'm like, dude, like what? Like, are you kidding me, man? Because like at the time, it's just like, I was playing. I know all us Halo pros play a lot, but like I was disgustingly, bro. Like from the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. My girlfriend would come over, like make sure I had food. Like she would, like I'm telling you guys, it was disgusting. My grind for Halo 5 was disgusting.
Damn.
And I remember like not having any money either because I wasn't working or anything. Like I couldn't afford it. You know, I would go to McDonald's and get a burger, but I couldn't get a soda with the burger. You know what I'm saying? Like I could only do so much, or I didn't have a social. I didn't see my friends for 2 years. I'm not even exaggerating. I missed birthdays. I didn't see no movies. I didn't watch TV shows. Like Halo was it was all like everything. It was my everything. And
you want that back? That's the deep question. Infinite comes back. Are you ready for that type of grind again? Would you do that again?
Yes, I'm so much from being in Call of Duty, man. I've learned so much stuff about gaming that I can apply to Halo. I can't wait.
You got to give your soul to it nowadays. It's crazy. Just thinking of the competition and how young some of these guys are, the time that they put in, you literally it has to be your everything. So mad respect, man. But it sounds like the quality of life was a little poor during the time that you're grinding, but I respect it.
Dude, for real, bro.
Yeah. Onset, you tweeted out there too. You guys had a little bro moment, which was nice to see. Get Onset's tweet. Let's throw. Do you remember? Let's see if you remember.
I don't remember what I did yesterday. Yeah, like what happened in 2016.
We had I know, John, I'm mixing up the order because I know that Spartan replied. Spartan was like, "This is an amazing series." You can show that tweet if you got that one. And then the one following, I had the Onset one. We'll show tweets and then we'll react to them. Hopefully you got them. I got you here in the background just in case there's an issue. There we go. Here's Onset. Need to give a shout out to Cratos. You specifically shouted him out. Guy had an insane event amongst the native hype.
Yeah, I think a lot of the focus from fans and people like that was on Naded because he's obviously a big fan favorite, and a lot of people at that point still wanted him, to win his first event, and there was all that kind of hype. But you gotta remember, there's 4 people on the team, and I think that everyone's talking about Naded. I think it was just right to give Cratos a shout out in that series, especially after, like we say, you were a polarizing character back then, but when you were playing Halo, you were one of the best, and I think that had to be recognized by someone, and if that someone was me there. And I just think if you're playing well, you should be recognized, and you had an insane series, an insane event, and deserved it.
Word.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of the hype was definitely behind Brett for good reason, But
you got the MVP that event as well. So
like, I should have got the MVP. Like not even.
None of your team should have got MVP in that event. Well, I'm sorry. The winner of the event should get MVP. I always think that. You won the event.
How I look at it is how could you give an MVP to anyone on CLG when they're all just as good as each other and they're all playing that good? They're all, you know what I'm saying? Like they're all the most valuable.
Let them decide.
They're all the most valuable, like I don't know. I felt like I popped off when I had to pop off. That makes me the most valuable. Like I didn't think I was the best player on my team. Like Suspector was for sure the best player on our team, and he was playing like it as well. Yeah, like he did it like the whole season. It was like Suspector's. He got picked up by EG afterwards. Like he was the top guy, and then everyone was expecting Brett to do really good. But yeah, not a lot of people gave me credit. I remember when he said that, I was just like, yeah, thank you. Like, thank you, someone. on top of no one even saying it ever. Yeah, no one says anything ever. But on top of that, they don't even put me on the screen a lot. So I'm not on the screen showing, because I was putting up numbers, but I was never on the screen. And then, I don't know.
I mean, you're talked about. Onset said it as well. You're a polarizing guy. And that's the thing is like, I find that you serve a particular, like it's entertainment, you know what I mean? To have somebody like you in Halo. So it's going to be cool if you come back for Halo Infinite, because I like the dynamic when just kind of having you in the mix there. We don't have very many rivalries. We don't have, Moses said this a couple weeks ago, Halo needs a bad guy, a villain. Not that you're like a villain, but I thought of you.
I am.
Okay,
I was going to say, I think if you ask Carlos, he would be the first person to say, I'm happy to be the villain. Like, because that's what motivates you, right? When people tell you can't do something.
When someone, like when I hear the crowd going crazy, I'm okay with it being them going crazy against me. Because like I still hear it, and that's still like dope. Like my energy is giving other people energy, even if it's negative towards me. It's still like energy, and I'm gonna use that. Like I don't know, people just don't get me, man. People just don't get me,
Would you, if like say when Infinite comes around, would you do things a little bit differently to what you did back in Halo 5, or would you just continue the same? I know it's like a crazy question. Is there anything you kind of look back on and think I could have done that a bit differently?
Other than a couple of team decisions, probably not. A lot of people think like I was being too much or too extra, but from my point of view, I'm not being too much or too extra. From my point of view, I'm just competing. Like from my point of view, I'm not saying or doing anything that I don't truly believe. Like just because someone doesn't want to hear something doesn't mean like that's not what I feel. Like at the beginning of Halo 5, the reason people started hating me is because I was like, Ogre 2 is not good at Halo 5.
Yeah.
What? But that's offensive to the whole community. But what happened? They dropped him and he retired. Because people ask me questions and I'm going to answer them. Because I'm not like talking about his character. I'm not saying he's like I don't know anyone. I don't even know anyone on that level. So I can't say anything bad about someone on that level. Or like Ninja. Ninja got mad at me one time in an interview and I was like, Ninja should stick to streaming. I said that in an interview and I got a bunch of backlash for it. I'm like, and guess what happened? Like,
you're the prophet. You're the prophecy.
Yeah, the prophecy. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I feel like that type of personality, like the villain aspect, it works really well in like, for example, the FGC community. Like Leffen, I think I'm a Smash fan. I think of Leffen and FGC. They have the five gods of Melee, which is I'm derailing this conversation. But Leffen comes in and he's like, these five gods, they're nothing. I'm going to be the main god. I'm going to take them all down. And he does it. He takes them all out. At one point, he was like the best, which works because he's a solo player. You know, it's a 1v1 type of game. Halo is a team game. That's the thing, is like, no matter what kind of ideals or what you want to accomplish, no matter what that is, you still have to work with three other people. You have to make three other people like you. You know what I mean? That's where the struggle comes in. It's because I recognize and I can appreciate where you're coming from as far as your drive to want to succeed. But if you're making enemies in the process, it's going to be very hard to find that one team that's really going to stick and going to work for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes it harder to find a team for sure. But I also don't want to be successful with people I don't like. And if someone doesn't like me for how I compete, then I don't want to like compete with you. Because like anyone should know, like they should know what I mean by that. Like my best friend in the world, like not outside a game and inside a game, is a Spectre. And I've said things to him that like, you know, like a normal person wouldn't forgive me for, you know, but like he knows at the end of the day, like I'm a completely different person than when I put this headset on, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's fair, man. I say, you know, stick to your guns. And I think Halo, the audience, myself, the fans, everybody, we benefit from that anyway. it's an entertaining discourse, you know, to
Let's
see.
Look at some of the best series that we've ever had, and they've all been based around a rivalry, right?
Yeah,
There's been
exactly.
Lethal Snipe Down. We're still talking about it now, you know, even though you know,
even though there's no rivalry there anymore.
Exactly, we're still talking about that. Yeah. Like when Carlos left the scene, and you know, there was definitely kind of this nicey feeling in it, and I think you do need a little bit of that spike in a competitive scene. You do need that, because at the end of the day, there's a hell of a lot of money on the line. And I always think, like, if I'm sat across from someone and it's a game show, and it's that game show where it's like you can split the money or you can take it, like there's that human nature to like want to take it, like, and I think you need that kind of like bring that edge back, where you know you need that competitiveness to be put back into it, and that little bit of edge to make the series a little bit more interesting, make people want to watch, be an entertainer. I like it. I love it.
Yeah, like what you're saying, it's just like when I'm sitting in front of someone, it's either you're gonna win or I'm gonna win, and there's a bit like there's winning changes your life. So like as much as I hope everyone that has to do with anything, like people who make Halo, people who commentate, all the competitors, like I hope everyone's successful, but I don't, not at my expense. You know, like I'm nice, but I'm not that nice. Like I'm trying to win. I'm trying to take what's mine.
You're not gonna bend over for no one.
Yeah.
All right, man. I respect it. Like I said, I think it's good for Halo, for us, as you know, getting to watch from the sidelines. It's all fun stuff. So we're kind of running out of time here. We've been talking quite a lot here. We've gone through the X Games. We've gone through Worlds. Of course, following that, we had the Pro League, a couple Pro Leagues. We had the summer. We had the Fall Pro League. You had to make a bit of a team change. You split off from Allegiance pretty quickly after. What were your thoughts on that? Was that is that something you wanted to do? Why'd you kind of split off?
So
you had such a great performance. You still got second place, right?
Tuesday before Worlds, me and Nate had gotten into a really big fight, like really big, like things you shouldn't say to a teammate, like really bad. Like we were coming at each other, and we were basically going into Worlds like screw this, like oh let's get this tournament over with. That was our mentality going into Worlds. It was pretty bad mentality, you know. So as soon as Worlds was over, I wasn't even home yet, and I was already trying to form a team. So I left pretty fast. I was hoping the team was Suspector still, but he got picked up by EG.
Right.
And then I wanted to team with Boo Boo, and I wanted to team with Shooter, which was pretty hard to do because he just got top 16. He didn't even make Worlds, and no one thought of him as that good. But he was like one of my best buds at the time. So I was like,
Right.
all right, I'm gonna. And I've always just teamed with my friends, so I'm gonna team with my friends. And then Hugh.
Yeah, you chose
Boo-Boo-
well, by the way.
Yeah.
You like Enigma 6, you formed like an amazing squad. You guys, like, did you think it was going to be the squad that it became? Like, did you know? Of course, you must have known how talented Hook was, I guess.
I honestly didn't have that much. I'm not gonna say faith in him, but I wasn't expecting to have the leap he had while he was on our team. 'Cause
Right.
when he first joined, he was like pretty good,
Uh-huh.
but when he was on like 2 months into teaming, he was the best player in the game.
Yeah.
It was
So I
insane.
was-
Like his rise was crazy.
Yeah.
I was not
Crazy.
expecting that. And that's what happens
Yeah.
when you team with friends, man, because you can actually take the time, like talk to them. They're really good friends, and they could. I wonder what it's like to be them on their team, because they could probably break things down so easily. And I've never had a team like that. I've always had teammates that like don't practice or something like that. But with that team, all of us were on the same page. Like, hey, like we need to win. We want to win. You know, Hugh really is hungry. Boo Boo, for all the reasons in the world, he's super hungry. Shooter, no one even talked about Shooter. And then with me, like I feel like I always have like something to prove. So we all took it very, very serious.
There's a tweet related to that as well. I've been grabbing a bunch of tweets, but John, if you're able to find it, it's that one where he talks about how he doesn't respect people who don't want to win. Basically, it was if you can find it, you can bring it up. There it is. I don't respect a lot of players in the game because they honestly don't care to win as a competitor. That should be your only goal. So you're saying when it came to Enigma 6, you met 3 other people who shared that same mindset, right?
Yeah, like so like another thing that people say about me is like that I'm cocky, right? And it's like I'm not cocky, because if I wasn't cocky, I wouldn't grind 12 hours a day. I wouldn't sit there and watch 3-hour scrims over from every single person's point of view of the other team, you know? Like I respect my opponents, and I see these other players just not caring. I see these other players taking what we had for granted. Like, you know, we had the HCS, we had all this money, we had the Pro League, like we had all this stuff, and like, I could see, like, even though I'm not close to them, I could see that these guys aren't really caring the way I care. And I don't know, like, you should put your all into something, man. Doesn't matter what you do.
I
you
get
should
that
put your
100%. Like when I used to play on sports teams, like you play with 11 players, and it would like this is one of the reasons my dad became a professional golfer, is because he used to play team sports.
Okay.
And he would get so frustrated with people letting him down, so he took up a solo sport because he just couldn't handle the fact that someone wouldn't put in the same amount of work that he would to be as good as he could be.
Right.
So like I was exactly the same when I used to play team sports, and I used to be really bad. Like I would put my all into it. I would train hard. I would work super hard. And if someone turned up at the weekend with like a hangover or something for a game, I would go at them, and I couldn't help it because I'm like, why am I busting my ass for you to then turn up and make my weekend bad because we're going to lose because of your performance? Like that's not fair. And that's like, I completely get that mentality, like 100%. And I think if you're playing at the top level, that always should be your mentality. Like, what is the point of turning up if you're not going to try and win? It might be a year's road, it might be a 2-year road, but your end goal should always be to win.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
try to play your best. Always try to play your best. And before Worlds, we practiced 2 times as a team. With it, and we had 5 weeks between regionals and Worlds, and we practiced 2 times as a team. Like, and I'm on from the moment I wake up to sleep every single day, and we're practicing 2 times as a team.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't happy. Like like my teammates knew I wasn't happy. The org owner knew I wasn't happy. Like I was out of there right away.
Yeah. So you split off, you form Enigma 6. Enigma 6 has some unbelievable performances. You guys, at one point, you're playing online in the Online Pro League. You defeat CLG. You're the first team to beat CLG since X Games. And of course, going on to the Pro League finals, unfortunately, you weren't able to maintain that. But just some incredible waves that you kind of made. This first year of 2016 was undoubtedly, I think, the best year that you've had in Halo so far in your career. So just looking back on 2016, and just to kind of wrap it up, what do you guys think of that experience? And Onset, for you as well, like this was huge for your career as a caster. Tell me a bit about just kind of, what'd you think about that year? Halo.
I mean, 2016 was the year that changed my life outside of, just Halo. It was the year that I was able to, through various circumstances, ended up working full-time in esports. The first time that I got the opportunity to do something I never thought I'd be able to do as a European commentator. We had a lot of talented people involved. Wonderboy, Sims were kind of holding it down. So to be given that opportunity and kind of grow from there was, to this day, like I'm still so incredibly grateful for the position I'm in. And like I worked for, years and years and years doing a job I hated. So every single day that I'm doing this, I absolutely love it. And the halo that we had and the hype in 2016 around Worlds and everything like that, I think the thing that kind of sticks with me is watching Cratos. Then you probably couldn't see it, everyone watching at home right now, but when we were rewatching those moments there, like you will never lose those memories and those moments. Like they will stay with you forever. X Games, World Championships, wins, and 2016, I think for a lot of people, really made their lives. Like it changed lives. Like it was insane. Even look at CLG. Those players there, like.
That's when they became the dominant squad that they are now.
Before 2016, how much money was Snakebite earning? How much money was Lethal earning? Serious question. Serious question. And they win $2.5 million, and they become one of the most dominant teams in console history. It's insane to think that 2016 really was a year, and Halo 5 and everything that went with it that changed lives, both for players, talent, everyone surrounding the game. It was probably one of the most important years, especially if you keep in consideration what had happened before that with Halo 4 and everything surrounding that. It was the year that changed everything and really did put Halo back on the map.
Yeah. For me, it was so like as I can't really speak for everyone else, but I feel like as a competitor that takes things really serious, you always have some self-doubt in you. Like you always have.
Right.
I'm good, but am I that good? You kind of have that in the back of your head always, and that's what pushes you to like work hard, And I've been saying I'm one of the best players in the world since Halo Reach, and I've never, like I said, I don't talk to nobody, so I'm never on teams. I don't socialize with anybody, so I never had opportunities. Even when I was one of the best in the world, I still didn't even get opportunities. So like during Halo 5, like that beginning part, it like really, it hit me that I'm like, okay, like I'm not delusional. Like I'm actually this good. Like I know, like I proved to myself a lot that season,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, right? Just proving that you are capable of that success, right? So that going onwards in the future, you can have even more confidence, that you can get it back. You can be back on that pedestal. So awesome year for both of you guys, and exciting for me as a viewer. That's kind of the year that I say I really became passionate about Halo 5, because I was in and out of Halo, but that kind of really grabbed me, and I wanted to start breaking it down, and I started the YouTube channel. So yeah, amazing year. So just to kind of close things out, let's look forward for a second, because today Halo's in kind of a weird place. Halo's I call it the incubatory phase here. But kind of going forward into the future, what would you guys like to see kind of with Infinite, especially like with a couple of things here? For example, John, if you're able to grab the tweet, Cratos at one point was talking about Pro League, we don't even actually have to grab it, but if you have it, you can put it up. But basically saying, something like this. As much as people explain to me, I will never get why people are excited for a Pro League. I'd rather have events every month. So, I mean, kind of going onwards into Halo Infinite, what did you think about the Pro League? Was that kind of a problem in a way? Like, should they change that in some way in the future with Infinite to kind of maintain, audience, have more people competing regularly?
Yeah, they need to do it. So I didn't really like it or agree with what our Pro League was when we had it at the time.
It was kind of exclusive, right?
Yeah, it was kind of exclusive. And a lot of the rules didn't make sense. Like as for qualifying, like there was a lot of things not in place. And then on top of that, it was online. But Call of Duty this past season or I think the past 2 seasons, for sure the past season though, they did the Pro League on LAN. So they flew out all the teams and then they played their matches all right there. And that, I feel like that's how you have to do it. Definitely with the game. I mean, Call of Duty is the same thing. Online and LAN are completely different.
Especially between Europe and US.
Yeah. We need to have it on LAN if we're going to do it. Otherwise it's where, anything can happen. And then how the structure was for us, at least at the time, anything can happen. You're not even showing up to the tournament because you didn't qualify to even show up to the tournament now.
Yeah.
I think the Pro League needs, if there is going to be a Pro League, I am not a fan of online competition. I never will be, unless it's literally for almost like a showcase of a game, because it's not a true representation of fair competition. I think if they want to do a Pro League, it has to be LAN based. But the main thing for me is to look at what makes Halo successful, what the Halo community like, and that is consistent open events.
Yeah.
One thing to highlight as well at the start of 2016, which is a slight negative, but I think it's important to talk about these things so that these mistakes aren't made again, hopefully, is the fact that up until Worlds and the qualifiers, and I think a year afterwards, there was not an open event for Halo. Wow. So if you were like competing and you were trying to play against the top teams,
how do you get there?
Yeah, there wasn't anything. There was literally no roadmap at all for people to compete. So I think what makes Halo Halo is open events for teams to turn up and compete. And if you can work that around, if you want a Pro League, it has to be a live event. But I think the core of Halo always is and always will be those big open events.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, the community thrives.
I agree. I'm even wondering, like, we had this massive $2.5 million tournament, which is crazy. It's amazing. It's exciting. But what could they have technically like portioned off a little bit of that prize pool and put it towards, having these LAN pro leagues or something so that we have more stuff going on? Of course, you guys want to make as much money as possible, but if you split the prize pool a bit, you have a couple big events. You can't
it's a give and take, isn't it? Because if you don't have that huge 2.5 million competition,
does it draw as many people?
Exactly. So it's like it's one of those things. But as I say, everything that goes on in a program is a learning experience, and you just hope that the people at HCS, I'm sure they've learned some lessons over the Halo 5 lifespan, and I'm sure that they're going to do everything that they can to make sure the environment to compete is the best one they can.
Yeah, I think the grassroots initiative that they're kind of putting together is a good precedent to all of that as well. Kind of having these like more open events, smaller prize pools, and also more diversity in content. And this is one thing I wanted to harken back to. Onset, I thought you did an amazing job at London with Gfinity. There are a couple little clips, John, if you're able to play them up in the background. The Hot Wings, I got the one with Lottie, and the interview you did with Stellar and Eco. That type of content I think is great for Halo 2. I think you really started something here that I hope continues. Tell me about like kind of a vision for this going forward with Halo Infinite. I think this is how you have, a real community with fans and personalities, right?
So my job at Gfinity is content creation. A lot of the time when I'm not on camera. So a lot of this, and Lottie was helping with this particular show, was to write this content. This I did not write. This was my boss's idea. You can see by my face, I think this is a terrible idea because I hate hot food and I just did not want to do this one. But anyway, I think in any sport, how you keep people coming back, how you keep people engaging with players is telling their story and giving them the platform to talk outside of the game so that they get excited about what they do inside of the game. I think the biggest thing for me coming into this event was to sit down with Splice and hear from Splice about everything that's been said about them, everything the negative said about how they don't care, they don't practice, and all this stuff. And I think it was one of those pieces of content that I didn't expect to be as good as it was, just because of essentially after that interview, I think a lot of people look very, very differently at Splice and Stellar and Eco especially. All of a sudden people are like, oh, there's a reason that they do this. It's not because they're lazy. It's because they have, their thought process. This is what they want to do. They want to do this. They want to do that. They want to do this. Right. And it made people connect with that team. And it was so important to do that. And I think there's a realization in esports in general now that this is vital to, you look at any sports team in the world, your favorite players, you want to speak to them, you want to know them, you want to meet them. You have to create that superstar element to these top players to make it a more appealing show to watch and
Absolutely.
for people to have some emotional investment in.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you were referencing the Stellar Eco interview, John, if you can quickly show that right there. These guys are so hard to lock down for 5 minutes. So just
I had
even
to chase them. I literally had to chase them. So we'd agreed to do it beforehand, and I'd spoken to them, and it was actually interesting because they did a little interview, a Skype interview with Eco beforehand, and he said, because I just thought they didn't want to do anything, right?
Right.
And I spoke to Eco, and he was like, I actually really want to do this. I just don't know how to do it. Like, he was so nervous about what it was going to look like, how he was going to sound, and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I need to give a massive shout out to Paddy Halliday, one of my very good friends and editors, for the sick job he did on this piece as well. Like, the intros and stuff were amazing. But they had agreed to do it, and I was DMing them, and I was like, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?" And like, couldn't get a response. Instead, I was like, "Oh, I've lost my phone." You know, some crappy excuse, which is like. So I literally saw Stella and Eco walking out of the shopping center by the arena, and I literally ran and I went, "You two now!" Like, grabbed them, and then we went and did it. And it was, I think they were both. Once we got into the flow of things and stuff, we're super happy to talk. And it was their platform to talk and answer back. And having them both there, I think, made them feel a little bit more comfortable with the situation as well, not just being sat down on your own, 1v1 with someone. Like,
yes.
It was my favorite piece of content that I think I've been involved with from what I've done anyway. I think it was a very, very good show.
This looks clean. Yeah, this looks dope.
Yeah, it was just really great work, especially with Splice, who they're a team of few words. It's hard to get through to them. If you could make them feel comfortable and just get inside their head a little bit, get them to, talk about what it is that they do.
It's
and
also asking them the hard questions. Like,
exactly,
why don't you practice? Like, why don't you scrim? Like, you can't be afraid to do that because people want those answers. People, want to know. It's like, if I was interviewing Cratos, for example, people don't want to know what Cratos eats for dinner. Like, do you know what I mean? People want to, they might do if they're weird, but like, people want to know what motivates you. Why do you get frustrated? Why do you get so loud? Why do you know what? That kind of stuff. They want to know about you and what makes you a character. And I think that's quite difficult. You need to kind of have an understanding of a character to create a good content piece.
Yeah.
And also they need to be completely on board with it. And like,
exactly. Yeah. So
the few people I know, oh my gosh.
It's okay. Sounds cute though. But I'll let him get back to it. In the meantime, though, I do have to jump. We have some questions as well from the chat that we're going to get to quickly, but also just some great ideas for the future of Halo Infinite. It was really what I really wanted to get going. So, we can kind of get that started. And conveniently, the question that we have from our chat here for both of you guys says, what kind of tournament circuit would you like to see when Infinite comes out? Cratos, so the question we just had, what kind of tournament circuit would you like to see when Infinite comes out? This is from the chat.
It's definitely, I don't have a problem with how Halo 5 started because we need to do stuff online, obviously, because so it gives everyone a chance to, get their feet wet. But I would say we have to have an open tournament instead of something you qualify for. Like maybe we can 100%. We can qualify to like start in the top 16 maybe. But when I think of like these tournaments, one of the last tournaments I went to, last Halo 5 events I went to, I went with an AM team. We beat 3 pro teams at a pro league qualifier, and we didn't earn a spot in the pro league after beating 3 pro league teams on LAN.
Wow. In
a row. So like, that's AM teams need to have the opportunity to, because anything can happen. And you want that. You want that random team in that pro league, because then that random team could build a storyline, or one of those players could be the next Shotzi. You don't know, like you don't know, like that random team that got in, maybe they got carried by this one new kid, and that new kid, that's the beginning of his story, and we get to actually watch that beginning part. But if we don't get to see that guy for X Games, regionals, worlds, qualifiers. So imagine if that kid didn't do good in that first tournament, we don't see him for 5 live events. Think about that, so
that doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
So we definitely need to have a LAN tournament earlier into the game.
Ansel, you agree?
I think you need to have a huge kickoff tournament. I'd like to see the return of the Halo World Championships. I think that's a really good initiative, not only for players to be involved with and to build throughout a season, but also obviously being from Europe, I think it is important to build other regions.
Absolutely.
Obviously, there's still going to be those powerhouses in North America, and they should be, rewarded as such. But one thing I did enjoy about Halo 5 is how it was inclusive to other regions and gave them the opportunity to compete. I think one huge step as well was HCS London, where we had the North American teams over for the first time.
Right.
My dream is to have a huge open event where we have, somewhere else in the world, whether it's in Europe or, wherever it might be, where we have, Australia would be nice, Hawaii, somewhere like that. But where everyone's invited and there's this huge event, this huge moment, and it's a way, it's something different. It's something that gets another region excited about a game.
Just transcends the US, because we're all US based,
Exactly.
it seems. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, if you ask a lot of players as well, a lot of them before London were like, I don't want to go to London. Or ask them now if they wanted to go to London. I think it was a lot of them their favorite event that they've been to. So, I think a big statement first open event is important. And I think just a healthy, consistent season of open events that you can create content, you can create storylines, and you can follow players and teams through. And also a transfer period. I want that.
Well said.
Seriously, I want a transfer window, like in football. Like you have to stay with a team, and then you have a week's period. And imagine the content you could create about that.
Right.
That'd be amazing.
Roster mania type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but like properly, not just like, oh, this team change is being made now, or we're behind the cameras. It's like, all right, you have to submit this shit live.
Yeah,
like,
I don't. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I don't like how
encourage
people
the team stay together longer as well. There's so much shady stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like, it's annoying hearing, one of the teams I'm competing against is DMing my teammate before a tournament, like before the tournament even happened yet, It's like, no, like that should be against the rules, and there should be like a window that communication can start, a week before that window or something.
Yeah. Think how sick it would be as well. Like for that transfer window, right? You have a live show, an hour. This is me like going into my weird
content trading shots or whatever.
And like, it's like, right, Cratos is on now. He's about to, so we're going to see where Cratos goes. Bang, he goes into Allegiance. It's like, oh, like who's going to go like there? Do you know what I mean? That'd be such a sick show. Like, and then you get players on talking about their new teams. Like, create stars, create content. I think that'd be cool.
It's a level of. No, I 100% agree. It's just a level of professionalism that we need as an esport, and this benefits the players. It ensures that they play longer. It ensures that people have better relationships.
Separate Halo.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't have it in another esport. Like, let's create something new. Let's do something innovative.
Yeah. I love it. Great ideas, guys. Another question we have here is Cratos. You said you talked about how you needed to place top 4 in Worlds because of the prize pool payouts. Do you want to see prize pools be distributed more closely between T8 to T16, or have the majority to be paid out to T2 to 4, Team 2 to 4?
It's hard to say because it all honestly depends on how big the prize pool is, Because I also, before the prize pools were that big, I didn't like how top 16 players would get paid when people who are the best in the world, top 4 teams, like if you're on a top 4 team, like you should be, it's your job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like there was a time where getting top 4, you're making nothing as well. So it honestly all depends with that. It'd be great for I would say top 8 with how like big Halo is. I would say like top 8 is making like a pretty good amount of money at tournaments. That's how I look at it, because we're not making money really outside of it. So we need the tournaments for that.
I think what'd be interesting for me is there needs to be something to aspire to, right? There needs to be that cutoff. And I think it's important to have that. I don't think you should be rewarded for being the 16th best in the world for something. I don't think you should. I think it's so people who would disagree with me who have been grinding all this time, but I don't think you should. I think if you get into top 12 or something, you might be able to get a travel stipend or something like that. I think that would help. You can get to the next event, but you're still not, you've done well enough to get to the next event and have your entry paid, travel, whatever, but you don't deserve to get a payout for not being particularly good at something. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm a crap accountant, I'm not going to get a job. Do you know what I mean? Why I shouldn't just get one because I have a qualification or because I do something.
Yeah.
I think you should be made to work for something that makes people work that much harder.
Yeah.
To get to that brass ring, and then that raises the standard for everyone.
I agree. I think what's more important is having more opportunities to do so, right? Especially for these new guys, having these open tournaments, more events where they can get these good placings and they can get in the money rather than extending the amount of money that you give to, 8 through 16 or whatever.
I guess expensive and stuff, and that's where I think the format can help. Like help people travel, help people do that. But I don't think you should be.
I think content could do what like money isn't doing. Like I feel like if I go to a tournament, play lights out, but I get top 16, I had close series with good teams or something. Yeah. But if then that event's completely to waste. If there's no content on that, then my tournament, I made no money. I made no new connections. No one knew I did anything good. But if after the tournament there is full stats of that series or a highlight of that series or something like that where it's like
place to watch next event, that sort of thing,
exactly. Yes, exactly. But if I just go and there's nothing, then I just wasted my time on that.
Yeah. So I guess another big part of it is the content they generate around these teams and the playoffs and the highlight reels, things like that, to get people excited or feel like they've earned something for the position that they've placed in. It's not just they're this unknown 15th place team or whatever it is, right? But yeah, ultimately, guys, great ideas. Of course, we're all very excited for Halo Infinite. That's the next big bastion, and hopefully it pays off in the way that we really think Halo deserves, right? It's been long enough.
It's the best game, dude. I am
Halo's
not biased.
amazing, dude.
It is the best.
I can't get away from
game.
it. I'm trying to play other stuff, and it's just not the same. And I'm torn. I think we can all agree it's this fluctuating depression to I'm okay to I'm depressed. It's terrible. Everybody's
a new game to learn and commentate.
It's rough, man.
I love Halo 3. I love the Halo franchise, but commentating over a game that you've been watching for 12 years, like it gets to a point where it's like I'm saying the same things. Like I've been saying for people want to hear new stuff. People want to see new action. They've seen these plays 100 times. Can it be 2020? Good time yet. Come on, 3.
Come on. I think we're being hosted by HCS main channel as well. So maybe they'll hear our pleas or something. But of course, us in the Army, we all want the next Halo Infinite. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Really great discussion. Right before we close, goals. Quick little thing. Next big goal for you, Cratos. What would you say it is going forward?
My next big gaming goal would to have some success in COD this upcoming season. New games about to come out, and maybe if they throw a Reach event, I'll be there. I haven't seen y'all in so long, so I can't wait.
Yeah. Kratos making a return to Halo. I think that sounds good, man. So Halo Reach maybe will come out, perform well in COD, and then of course Infinite. Onset, what about you? What's the next big goal for you?
Hello, really. Just doing what I'm doing. See where this road takes me. I don't know. Work hard. Don't make a lot of noise unless I got something important to say. There you go.
Fair. Well said. Thank you guys so much once again for joining me, and hopefully I get to meet up with you guys soon. Not sure where things will take us, but we're all going to be grinding Halo, so hopefully it brings us back together. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you,
dude. Thank you, man.
All right, guys, that closes our interview today. Thank you guys for joining us. Once again, we have our Grassroots giveaway. I know some of you guys wait in the chat for that. You type ! Grassroots in the chat for your chance to win the BR skin and nameplate. Let's find out who it is. John should be telling me the winner. I'm trying to drum roll this, John. Help me. We got a code coming. You guys probably already see it in the chat before I see it, but the moment I get it, I will read it out to you. And then it says Alex. John said Alex, the winner. Wait, just the name Alex is the winner? Just straight up Alex. Is it? Okay, Alex, congratulations. You've won the BR skin and nameplate. Great original name there, and enjoy the goodies. They'll send that to you through DM. And of course, guys, you can come back next week for your Grassroots giveaway. We do that every single week. We're going to close the show. We also have our merch as well. You guys can take a look at. Anything that you purchase here supports the show, and it supports me as well, and I would highly appreciate that, guys. Thank you once again for joining us. Remember, if you missed this, you can tune in on YouTube. We put the whole broadcast up on YouTube. You can listen to it on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Plays. Lots of different ways to keep up with HCS Weekly. I'll see you guys next week with more news and more interviews. Have a good night.